If you are used to running on the roads with well-lit streets and clear paths, then thinking about going off-road onto the trails can feel a little bit daunting. What if you get lost? What if the path disappears? And what about all those trespassers will be prosecuted signs? Fear not, here are my top tips to help you transition from road running to trail running. And there's not really much you've got to think about. So the first thing is to start with a well-marked path. Now you might think trail running is all about running in the wilderness and up mountains, but it isn't. All it really is coming off road. Maybe going into your local park or in your local common, or just trying out some well-marked routes in your local woods. Starting somewhere more familiar will help you build the confidence that you need to try and explore and go onto other footpaths that maybe you're not so familiar with. And starting with well-marked paths will mean you don't have to worry about getting lost, because you're going to be shown the way. And thinking about being shown the way, another option is to join a guided trail run. Now I do these myself in Wadston in Buckinghamshire, but there are lots of groups around the country that do them. They can be really short kind of introduction to trail runnings of like 5 to 10k, or up to half marathon, and even ultra distances. So whatever distance you want to explore, have a look to see if there's a guided trail run near you. All you have to do is turn up and enjoy the run. Everything else has been taken care of for you. And if you want to know more about my guided trail runs, just drop a comment below. Another tip is to know where you're going, and one way you can do that is by using the Ordnance Survey maps. Now the OS maps are not only available as paper maps, but also available as an app, and I find this invaluable because you can be out somewhere and you can think, oh, I wonder where that footpath goes. There's a nice clear sign, it's going off in that direction. It's not the direction I was planning on. You can grab the app, have a little look, pin mark where you are and go, oh yes, that's a nice clear path that's going to loop around to back where I was thinking of going. Or you might look at it and go, oh no, that's going to take me too far off route. So it's a really good way to kind of explore the area around you. There is a little charge for it, but I believe it's well worth it. There are other maps that can help and other apps that can help as well, but I find that the OS map is one of the best ones out there, so it's well worth the investment. And one of the best things about trail running is the adventure. So my next tip is to enjoy the adventure. If you see a marked footpath and you think, oh, I wonder where that goes to, go and have a little look. You might not want to go all the way down it, you can always come back, but just have a little peek, see what's there. Some of my favourite trail runs were on routes where I saw a sign and thought, oh, I wonder what's down there, and had a little look. It can be really surprising just how footpaths match up with each other and where they lead, and it really helps just to explore your local area or wherever you're running. Just make sure that you know where you are and how to get back, and that's where something like the OS maps is really helpful, because you can kind of pinpoint where you are and you know where to how to get back as well. My next tip is about managing your expectations, not comparing your road running times with your trail running times. Your trail running times are always going to be a little bit slower than your road running times, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Do not worry about it. It's different terrain. You might have more hills, you might have more uneven paths, you might have more sort of gravelly paths where you need to take your time to go up and go down. You might have more mud, you might have more tree roots, you might have more animals in your way. There's a lots of obstacles that happen when you're running on a trail, which don't when you're running on the road, which can slow you down. And even if you're running on a really nice well-marked route with no kind of obstacles, no paths, the terrain itself is going to slow you down a little bit, because it'll be a little bit more kind of careful where you're putting your foot. You might want to slow down on certain parts. So really, do not compare your road running times with your trail running times. You are likely to be slower, and it might not just be about the terrain, it might be about you want to stop and enjoy the views. I quite often do that when I get up to the top of a hill on the top of a trail and go, oh, this is a lovely view. I'm really glad that I walked up that hill. And actually, run walking is a lot more common in trail running than you might think. My final tip is all about building strength. Now, building strength is important whether you run on the road or the trails. It's going to help you run stronger, it's going to help you run longer, and it's going to lessen the chance of any injuries and lessen any aches that you might feel afterwards. But with trail running, it's even more important because you are faced with more uneven ground, more uphills, more downhills, more different terrain, which means that having strength not just in the core to kind of keep you upright, but also in the hips to make sure that when you're kind of moving from side to side, you're strong enough to keep you going, and most importantly about your ankles. So we want to build ankle strength and ankle mobility as well. So making sure that your ankles have the mobility that when you put your foot down and it moves and your ankle has to move. So if you're on a bit of a uneven terrain, your ankle's strong enough and mobile enough that you can kind of come back to upright without extending over and then straining or spraining your ankle. So looking after your ankles and working on some ankle strength, I think is very important for trail running. It's important for all running, but I think especially for trail running. So any work that you can do on your ankles is really, really key, along with everything else. So core strength, leg strength, upper body strength, everything is an important aspect of both road running and trail running. So I hope these tips have given you a little bit of confidence that you can move off the roads and explore your local countryside, explore your local parks, explore your local common, and feel quite confident that you can do it. As long as you can run the distance on the road, you'll be able to run the distance on the trail. It might be a little bit slower, you might walk a little bit more, but that's all fine. It's all part of the experience of trail running. And if you do get out there, let me know, and let me know if these tips were helpful. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content all about running tips to keep you running strong and keep you running happy.